Going live today to talk about saunas, self-care, and trauma. And I will also be announcing our giveaway winner. This is our Mother's Day giveaway. So today we're going to start by talking about saunas. And I am sitting in my sauna right now. Love this sauna. This is a clear light sauna. And I will actually be releasing a podcast of an interview where I interview the guy who created Clear Light Saunas. I love saunas. If this is something that you guys can purchase, now maybe you can't get this huge sauna that I have. There are really nice at-home saunas that are blankets. I do like the higher dose blanket. I can also add a link in the post for this IG Live as well too. That's a blanket sauna. And why do I love infrared saunas? Well, I think that it kind of gets to the point of self-care in, like, you get so many things done all at once. And when we think about self-care, there's like 3 things I really want people to focus on a daily basis, that if you could just take care of yourself in that way, you will make sure that you are detoxing every day. And the first thing is, how do we release our toxins? Well, we release our toxins via stool, urine, breath, and sweat or skin, okay? So you do have to make sure you're having those bowel movements every single day, that they look like a banana, they're sinking to the bottom. I know it's gross to take a look at your bowel movements, but please do so, because if you're not having those everyday bowel movements, then you are constipated and you're having a problem. So that's one of the things you can do for self-care. Make sure to drink enough water. Sometimes if you're not drinking enough water, you won't have those bowel movements. The second thing that you need to do is breathe. I don't think we understand that breathing is actually a form of detoxification, because you're breathing out toxins, and so making sure to breathe. Your skin is really an important way we get out toxins as well too. So in terms of your skin, making sure you're doing things like sweating and exercising, etc., is really important. And then urination. So making sure you're drinking a lot of water and that urine is not looking too dark is really important. So these are the things you need to think about on a daily basis. Like, am I doing all the things I can potentially do to detox? And why I love getting in my sauna is because I actually can hit multiple birds with one stone. And one of the things I do when I'm in here, if I'm not doing an IG Live, is I'm actually breathing. I'm breathing a lot in here. And again, that breathing is really exhaling toxins. So that's one. Number 2, I'm actually getting a mini workout by just sitting in my IR sauna, which is awesome. Infrared energy is kind of like when you rub your hands together and you create this infrared heat. And it's the same thing that's actually happening with these heaters that are right behind me right here. And that's creating that infrared energy in my body. That infrared energy is getting things moving. It's causing lipolysis, the breakdown of my fat, the release of toxins. And then eventually, as I sit in here, it's about 97 degrees in here now, it'll get up to about 130 degrees. Eventually, if I sit in here long enough, I will start sweating. And that's a big way we're releasing toxins, is through sweat. So if you think about it and you're not sweating on a weekly basis, this is a problem, because you want to help your body to release those toxins. So one way to take care of yourself is to buy an IR sauna or go to a wellness center and do IR sauna treatments. The other thing I end up doing in my sauna, because I have a big sauna here, I have a 3-person sauna, is I actually work out in here. So I do abs and I exercise. And so I love IR saunas. If you haven't ever tried one, go to a wellness center and try an IR sauna. Think about maybe purchasing one at home if you really enjoy it. I also like to say it's kind of like exercising without exercising, because you do actually get your heart rate up in here, even just by kind of just like being in here and sweating. It's actually really great for your cardiovascular health, for anybody who has, any cardiovascular issues. Katie, awesome. I'm so glad you have one. Start using it. How often should you get in your IR sauna? At least 3 times a week would be awesome. And I usually like you to be sweating for at least 15 minutes every time you get in. So for me, it takes about like this isn't up to the heat yet because I didn't want to be full on sweating in front of you guys. But it takes me about, like, once I get into my sauna, about 10 minutes to start sweating. So once you're starting to sweat, I want you to sweat for at least 15 minutes. And they've actually shown that in your sweat, you release a lot of toxins, and potentially more than even in your urine and what we see in your blood. So if we check your sweat, we check your blood, we check your urine, they've actually shown that you release a lot of toxins, possibly even more through sweat. And especially like, if you're doing it with exercise and you're moving your lymphatics, etc. And someone has asked, is it more beneficial to do a sauna blanket than a hot bath? Yeah, there's, a hot bath is a little bit different. That's hydrotherapy. And there's benefits there, definitely, especially if you're doing like hot, cold alternation. If you're doing like a hot bath and then you do a cold plunge and then a hot bath and a cold plunge, that's different. That's like contrast hot cold therapy, which is great. IR sauna is a little bit different. You're actually, with that infrared energy, you're actually stimulating the cells and stimulating lipolysis, and what that means is the breakdown of fat so that toxins can actually release, and then they release out via your sweat. They also will release via your stool and your urine. So that's why you do need to make sure that you are urinating, really nicely, drinking a lot of water, and going to the bathroom, and that your bowel movements look really nice. I find that when I see patients, this is a big problem, that they actually aren't having nice bowel movements, and that they're not having it every day, and your doctor is never telling you that, because your doctor is like, oh yeah, you're fine, you're not constipated. And the definition of constipation in, let's say, conventional medicine is more like you're straining. And that doesn't have to be constipation. Constipation can also just be if you are not having really nice, beautiful, banana-like bowel movements, okay? So saunas, these are one of my things that I personally do for self-care. I try to get in here at least 3 times a week, if not more. I actually, sometimes even do work in here, but mostly I try to meditate in here. I try to do abs. I do squats, etc. If you have a blanket, of course you can't do that, but you can do the meditation and the breathing part. So I highly suggest that you do that breathing part. And that's really great. The other thing I love for self-care, we're talking about just kind of detox mechanisms today, is my Pemf mat, my PEMF mat, and that's pulse electromagnetic field therapy. And I actually end up getting on my Pemf mat at the end of the day when I'm brushing my teeth, and I just stay on there for 20 minutes. And this is really great. This is a pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And unfortunately, so many of us are exposed to EMFs and electromagnetic fields that are actually damaging our system. And so Pemf therapy is really great because it's almost like a reset button. And higher dose also sells a really great Pemf mat as well too. So I can put those links on this post and just share that with you too. Okay? All right. So I wanted to talk about trauma. And then after we talk about trauma, I will announce the winner for the giveaway. But trauma, let's talk about it. Why did I start thinking about trauma in my practice? Well, when I'm treating people and we're hitting a roadblock, like we are just not getting anywhere, I'm detoxing them, they are, they're eating well, they're exercising, they're doing everything you think possible to clean their system, and we're not getting anywhere, and and the system's just stuck. Like, why is it so stuck? And what I find is that it is often stress. And the reason for this is when you are in fight or flight mode, okay, so pretend a bear is running after you, you think you're gonna die, you're in fight or flight mode, your body goes into survival mode. When you are in survival mode, your body shuts down everything else, okay, and it says, okay, I don't need to make a baby right now. I don't need to detox my system. I don't need to clean my gut. I don't need to digest my food. I need to get out of here because this bear is about to eat me. So your body basically shuts down everything. And so when this happens and you're in survival mode, your body can't heal. It doesn't even have the ability to heal because it thinks you are running from a bear. So what I need to do is really, get you out of survival mode. So how do we get you out of survival mode? Well, what I find is that when you are in survival mode, the biggest problem is that there is some trauma that is inside of you, and you either know it or you don't know it. And what I like to say is pretend you're a little child and you touched a hot stove. And you didn't know that was going to burn because you have no concept of it yet. In that moment, you now have a concept of it. You're like, ow, ouch, that hurt. It's a trauma, okay? And now that trauma creates a trigger. Every time you see a stove that potentially could be hot, you maybe go back like this even before you touch it. And that's called a trigger, okay? So if you guys just think right now, what are your triggers? We all have triggers. What are your triggers? Someone says something, boom, it triggers you back to a time when you had a trauma. Now, trauma is a word that we sometimes use and we kind of think of it as like this big trauma thing, right? It doesn't have to be a big trauma, disaster, etc. So I talked about this in my post. There's several different types of traumas. So we have little t traumas, which are little tiny traumas that could have been, something super simple. And I'll share mine with you. What we uncovered when I did my emotional release therapy was a little t trauma for me, which was my sister was born. And this sounds so stupid, right? I was 5 years old. My sister was born. And my mom stopped paying attention to me. And that was a trauma. Now, that was a trauma to me. It doesn't seem like a trauma from the outside point of view, but it was a trauma to me. And I wasn't receiving the same amount of attention and love. And it was a sort of trauma that, anytime someone would take away their love from me, I would get triggered. And that, carried on to me, as I got older and until I cleared it. Okay, so that's an example of a little t trauma. Then we have a big T trauma. That could be something like a disaster or war or, Holocaust survivors, and those are big T traumas. And then we have absorbed traumas, and this is so important for parents and kids to really understand. You parents, everything you're doing, your kids are actually absorbing. And yes, your kids can absorb your energy. They can absorb your traumas. They can absorb your negative ways that you handle situations. And this sometimes when I work with pediatric patients is I actually have to talk to the parents. I have to talk to them about creating an environment that's really calm, making sure that if they have fights, that parents have fights away from the kids, because your kids are absorbing this trauma. They are creating the way they want to see the world. And a lot of this happens up until you're 9 years old. So if you're observing your parents fighting and you're observing your mom crying and, this and that, etc., this is affecting your health, whether you want to believe it or not. And so if you guys are parents watching this, you need to start thinking about this and understanding that your kids are always watching you and they're always soaking in what's happening like a sponge. So that's called absorbed trauma. And some of us as adults might even have that. I am a child of divorced parents, and I had some of that I had to clear because I witnessed my parents fighting, and that also affected how I would handle my stress process and handle conflict with other people too. And that's something to understand. And then lastly, we have intergenerational trauma, and this is also called inherited trauma. And this is trauma that can be inherited from your grandma, your great-grandma, etc. And they did a really interesting study about this for Holocaust survivors. Holocaust survivors, so the children or great-grandchildren of people who survived the Holocaust, and they saw that those people had PTSD even though they've never been through a big trauma. And the potential reason for that is that there's an epigenetic change in the genes that then causes you to be ready for trauma. If you're going to be born in a world where there's trauma, then your body is ready to handle it. But unfortunately, these Holocaust survivor great-grandchildren, children, etc., they aren't in a traumatic situation, so they end up having things like anxiety, etc., and they don't even understand why, okay? And so that can be inherited. So these are all the different types of trauma that I see in my practice, and these are the things that make up your daily stress, even though you may or may not realize it. Your daily, your weekly stress, etc. So what we do is I created a protocol called the Clean Mind Protocol. And just like I work on cleaning up the body and detoxing the body, we have to really detox the emotional toxins that we carry, and that's really important. I do this for kids, I do this for adults, and this is about really, first of all, identifying what traumas are there. And so we do a type of procedure that kind of like you go into your subconscious library, I like to call it, and we find the trauma. And then we find, well, what age was it at? And we pinpoint the exact trauma that really needs to be cleared and reprocessed, okay? From there, we do what's called bilateral stimulation, and I do that with sound therapy. And that actually stimulates your brain to go further into the library and really find the places that we need to make connections about. And then it really makes a beautiful journey where we started a trauma, and then we just kind of travel down the line, and we travel and understand all the different related memories, emotions, feelings that are related to this trauma and that carry you to, today and some of the things you're experiencing today. By the end of it, we've reprocessed it. And really not we, it's more you've reprocessed it. And you have really come to the understanding of, oh, okay, so I don't need to see this as a trauma. And really, it's amazing because it's yourself, it's you doing your own therapy. And that's why I find it to be so much more powerful in a lot of ways than talk therapy. I think talk therapy actually really goes great with this type of therapy. And at the end of it, we kind of reprocess things, and then we finally at the end do a release. And that release is a physical release, it's an emotional release, and oftentimes we need to have forgiveness, right? So we go back to my example. It's not my mom's fault that my sister was born. I love my sister, I love my mom. What I had to understand though is how, when my sister was born, how it affected me, throughout my lifetime. Something so simple, but I had to understand it. And when I understood all the pieces of the journey, by the end, there's no weight on it, and I remember like making sly comments to my sister or my mom that just showed that I had potentially some kind of jealousy there about their relationship, and not even realizing where that was coming from. So this work is so powerful because you often don't realize the things you need to clear. And if you are going through treatment, you're trying to go through a healing process and you're just hitting a wall, and you might be on here saying, like, gosh, I'm doing everything. I changed my diet, I'm taking these supplements, I cleared my parasites, I cleared my heavy metals. Why am I still not healing? You need to look here. And this is where I found like I hit a roadblock with so many patients, and this is where we needed to uncover things is, what is making you feel like you're in fight or flight mode? What is making you feel like you're there, and therefore your body's shutting down everything so you just can't heal? Okay? All right, so that is my explanation of the Clean Mind Protocol. The Clean Mind Protocol is really a combination of all these things I found in healing myself. It's a little bit of emotion code, it's a little bit of EMDR, it's a little bit of sound therapy, it's a little bit of body work, and I just kind of put it all together and I call it the Clean Mind Protocol. And, we're literally just kind of wiping the mental health, anything you're holding on to, thinking of them almost like toxins as well too, that are causing you not to be able to heal. All right. So today I'm so excited because we are awarding, I did do a giveaway, and I am going to be awarding one person who had an entry on my post today. And what that person will win is either a discovery consultation. A discovery consultation with me is so that I can get to know you and really understand how I might be able to help you in your healing journey. And in my practice, Cleanbody, there's lots of ways. We have courses that can be really helpful. We have programs that can be helpful. I can run labs. I can run toxin labs. We can assess whether you need a clean mind session. So the discovery consultation is really to help understand how I can support you. Hear your story, look at past labs, and this is something that is available to everyone, but I am awarding somebody a free session today. And then the other thing, the person who wins has a choice. You also have a choice to do a 30-minute clean mind session. And in that clean mind session, we will identify at least one trauma. We'll work through that trauma and we will reprocess that trauma. In a longer session, we could potentially do 2 or 3 traumas. And what I love about this work is it's so fast. It's like you just need 3 sessions potentially, because oftentimes all of our stress goes back to like 2 or 3 traumas. And then every other trauma after that was potentially because of traumas from the past, okay? And so going back to like my situation, I had severe eczema, I had IBS, I had migraines, and I would really say up to 50% of my healing was actually working through all these traumas. And that's not always true of everybody, but that was true in my situation. And so, that's where the discovery consultation comes in, is I get to understand, how much is trauma, how much is toxins, what potential toxins are the problem, what do your organ systems look like. We have a really great assessment on my website. And if you go to the link in my profile, you can click that, and just at the top, you'll see free assessment. And that free assessment's awesome because you can actually just like fill out all these questions, see how full your funnel is, your detox funnel that I call, which is basically your gut, your liver, your bile, your kidney. And then you can also figure out, if you have so much trauma and stress, that clean mind sessions would be appropriate. And you could see how many alarm systems are going off telling you that there is a problem. So, do the assessment. I think that's a really great place to start. But today I did want to choose a winner for our giveaway, and I got my Cleanbody box right here. That's filled with all of the names of the people who submitted. Thank you, by the way, for submitting for the giveaway. I know I didn't give you too much time. I know we only had a couple days for this giveaway, but let's see. I have somebody here, and it is I don't know how to pronounce this. Igta Kata. Igta Kata, are you here today? Igta Kata. I think I saw you come into the IG Live. I don't know if you're still here, but congratulations. So I will DM you and let you know, what you've won, which is basically a discovery consultation or a clean mind session. For those of you guys who did apply but you didn't win, I will also send you a message thanking you for joining, and also give you a discount on both of those if you decided that you wanted to go ahead and join me on a discovery consult or a clean mind session. Okay, I'd love to open it up to any questions now. Yes, it's you, Igta Kata. I don't know. LTA Kata. Yes, it is you. Hello. Congratulations. And I will be DMing you shortly after I get off this IG Live. Congratulations. And I will send you that DM shortly, and then we could chat. Okay? Woo, I am getting hot in here. Now, I'm at 126 degrees Fahrenheit. Did want to tell you a little bit. Oh, Lauren Takata. All right, congratulations. So what's also different about an infrared sauna before we head out is that the temperature actually doesn't get super high like in a sauna at your gym, for example, okay? So it's different. I can stay in here, and this will probably stay at about 126, 135. As you can see, I'm doing quite well. I can be in here. And it's not so hot, which means you can stay in here for a while. And I'm already starting to sweat in here. And that's why I love the infrared sauna, because you can actually stay for a while. You could read a book, and that's where you can get more of that detox process. Whereas in your gym sauna, it's like 190 degrees. You probably can only stay in there for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 at the max. And then you're just way too hot. And the mechanism is different. The infrared energy really is different, okay? All right, and Katie's asking, what does a typical day look like in terms of meals when you're doing the Cleanbody? And Katie's asking about the Cleanbody program, which is a 4-month program. And a typical day, we are actually customizing everybody's diets in the program. We customize it based on your food intolerances, based on your gut issues. And so we have clean gut protocols, and the gut protocols, we have a mild, moderate, and severe. And so that can really determine what the typical day looks like in terms of meals. But really we try to build off of what you're currently doing so that it's an easy transition, Katie. And we're really, you're working with my health coach and myself, and the health coach is really gonna build something that's doable for you and your family, because that's really a big deal. In general, what I like to do is, I do like to cycle the carbs, and that means having like a lower amount in the morning, a medium amount in the afternoon, and a larger amount at night. And I find that really helps with kind of hormone balancing. And then we might choose foods that you can and can't eat based on your gut health, based on your food intolerances, etc. So Katie, that's kind of a little bit about the diet, but everything is customized towards you. So we really kind of work with you, because I know that if you have kids, it's kind of harder to manage cooking like 5 different meals for everybody. Okay? All right, great. And does anyone else have any questions today before I head out and start to be drenched in here in front of all of you? Anyone have any other questions before we head out today? All right, I don't see any questions popping up. What is the company name of your sauna? Yes, Lids 10. I will actually put a link on the post. But if you guys go to my website, cleanbody.health/ I actually don't remember I think it's /IR sauna, but let me actually just put it on the post, okay, Lids 10. I'll put it on the post so that you guys can see my recommendations for saunas. And I'll also give you the link for the Pemf as well too, where you guys can learn about sauna. I have a lot of information about learning there. And then there's also links to 3 types of saunas that I recommend, okay? And I'll put that link on the post, so make sure to take a look at the post for this IG Live. And are these daily? So Francisco, I don't do these daily. I do these three times a week, I would say. Another time I pop in here is if I'm sick, like if I feel like I'm gonna come down with something, I actually pop in here, and it's like you're eliciting a fever, which is really awesome, because then whatever bug is taking over your system is actually going to get killed in that process. That's what happens when we're having fevers, is the body's actually trying to heal. So, but if I could do this every day, I would. And I would say I at least do 3 times. And when people are going through my detox processes, I do recommend they do it every day. So if I'm going through an active detox, I will be doing it every day. All right. Ooh, I'm getting nice and sweaty here. I did want to mention one more thing that I forgot to mention, is that I am having someone asked me when I'm doing my next live, but I am having a live masterclass tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys can go on the link on my website, and at the top you'll see free masterclass, a button, free masterclass. Just click there. And if you attend the free masterclass, then I have slides, and I really teach you a lot about the stuff I've been talking about today. And you can learn more of the science behind the detoxification protocols that I kind of mentioned a little bit today. All right, so if you guys want to go to my live masterclass, it's tomorrow, Thursday, May 12 at 4 p.m. I will be there live. I'll be answering questions. The link is in the in my profile in my profile, and then when you click on that link, that's actually my website link. You'll just click the button that says free masterclass. Okay. All right. Any other questions before I head out? I don't see any other questions before I drip all over here. I'll head out. Thank you everybody for joining me on my live. I will be trying to do these every week. I think these are really fun. Next week I'll do the IG live on my Pemf, so you guys can take a look at my Pemf machine that I have in my bedroom. Okay. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.